Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts, Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 258 of the Ages of Rock podcast. This week, we have our good friend Kenny Wilkerson from Nova Rex, and he is promoting a book called Rockin Recipes for Autism. Have you ever had a dinner with a rock star? Now you can, and for a great cause, the release of one-of-a-kind cookbook, which has 57 world-famous rockers contributing recipes to raise awareness for autism. With this cookbook, their goal is to raise awareness and acceptance of autism. They have recipes from members of Ozzy Osbourne, Whitesnake, Stone Sour, Poison, Evanescence, and more. Kenny, how the hell are you?
Hey, man, I'm done. With a commercial like that, I don't have to say another word. You did a great job.
See you later, Kenny. Nice having
you. Well, you at least got to tell them where to find the book.
Listen, no, everything's great. You know, I appreciate being on you guys' show. April is autistic. I always say autistic. It's Autism Awareness Month. And, you know, we talked about this book. You know, I had a couple of people say, man, haven't you had this book for a couple of years? No. I did a year of pre-sales to try to raise the money for it. And then it took literally like 8-9 months to press. So I didn't have it last April. So, but anyways, yeah, you can check it out. Rockin Recipes for Autism.
It's good. That book is hot. It's cooking, man.
It's cooking. It's a cookbook. Well, you know what happened was I had a radio show for a while, and a guy. I go to New Orleans usually about every other year. It's not that far from me here in Florida. I like going there. I like eating the food. And after you leave there, you can't just go to Olive Garden. You know, it messes with you.
It just doesn't work, does it?
It doesn't work. So I was interviewing somebody, and I had that same conversation. They're like, "Hey, I'm from New Orleans. My parents are from there. I have this jambalaya recipe. You should get it," which I actually didn't even make the book because it was 3 pages long. It was crazy. But I ended up, after that happened, it kind of became a thing, and rocker buddies were just giving me recipes. And then after I found the charity, which is We Rock for Autism, it's a 501c out of South Florida that does music therapy for kids that have autism. Excuse me. And what I liked about that is anything that has to do with music, I'm for. I mean, they've taken all these music programs out of schools. People don't understand how important music really is. I mean, I'm a guy I can, you know, vouch to that. But so when I found those guys, then I just kind of buckled down and called a few of my rock buddies, and here we are.
That's cool.
One of a kind, never been done before. And now I know why it's a lot of work. That's why.
I'm going to be purchasing the book because I want to see it in color. But like I said, you sent us the PDF, and I was looking through the digital thing of it. And it's a well put together book. I really liked it, and was looking through the recipes because we just had actually Brian Forsythe on a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And we follow him on. I follow him on his Facebook page.
Yeah, he's a total foodie.
He is a foodie. I mean, he is all about meat.
You know what's funny though? What's funny about that? Brian was one of the first guys I got. Now you got to remember, I've had these recipes going on almost 2 years.
Right.
So when I got it from him at the time, because I've interviewed him as well, Brian, and I was like, he's like, dude, I don't even eat like that anymore. Now he did some kind of vegetarian beet, something, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But now he's like, meat lover guy, right?
Yeah.
Eggs and steak. Eggs and steak. What's that called? Atkins diet. It's like that kind of thing.
It's a carnivore diet. It's what he calls it. It's actually a carnivore, but it's kind of an Atkins, but he calls it supposedly a carnivore diet. So
I would like to try it. I just don't know if I could go 3 or 4 days without having chips and crackers and all the fun stuff. But man, I tell you what, he's awful fit. You know what I mean?
He's a skinny little dude. I mean, he's
skinny
fit
dude.
as hell.
Yeah.
You know?
and still has all his hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No shit.
And it's jet black. I don't know how that happens.
Well, that's
No, I'm just kidding.
you go to Walmart to buy that stuff.
But no, it looked like a bunch of cool recipes, and like I said, the way the book's put together, it was real cool.
Oh, thanks.
And so, talk about putting it together. I mean, trials and tribulations of.
Yeah, what happened? I've done a few things in my life, but I've never done a book. And you think a book would be easy to do? A lot of proofing, by the way. And then some of these guys just handwritten stuff out, or they typo like crazy. And so the publisher company is called Story Farm here in Orlando. They do cookbooks for a living. That's what they do. So that was kind of out of my department. And they did, if you remember from just what you've seen, they had like a little paragraph, like it'll say, Roy from Stone Sour, the drummer, it says like, when Roy was a kid, he used to play on pots and pans, and now he cooks around the house. And like all that stuff was from them. Because I couldn't have kept it that, PG, you know what I mean? So they kind of did those little things. And it's amazing how many of these musicians actually are really good cooks. I mean, it's just another talent they have,
Yeah, I thought, the recipe that Steve Lukather put on there from Toto was the best recipe on there, I think. Pretty
And
sure.
you know what? It's the number one thing people talk about in the book. And I think it's hilarious. Great guy. Again, I mean, he's a god, right? I mean, Steve Lukather. I mean, he's, and he plays with Ringo Starr when he's bored. So, and he has a young child that has autism. So that automatically, we kind of bonded with that. And he just said, look, I'm not a cook. So, but I want to donate. And honestly, at first I thought I didn't really know about it, but that's his humor and it's been pretty funny. So you have to check it out, how to do a Snickers bar.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've never seen that before. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was cute. And then, but there's a lot of good stuff in there too. I've had Ron Kills Chili. Obviously, I got Meatloaf. I've had who do I have? I had Ricky Rocket's Black Bean Sliders. It's just kind of all over the place. The other thing I did about the cookbook too is, I'm asking a favor from these guys to donate their recipes. And the problem is I had a couple of guacamoles. I had a couple that, so what happened though, is I started off with about 85 recipes. The book because I knew it was going to be 126 pages. That's what we decided on. So they did 2 pages per artist, right? Photo, basically bio, and then the recipe. I thought originally we were just going to do 1 per page. So I have some recipes left over from that. And then obviously since doing a book, I know what not to do the next time. So, but I've collected more recipes since then. So I'm hoping, if this goes out, I'd love to put out 1 a year.
Sure. I mean, why not? I mean, it'll be a continuation of, contributing to a good cause. So there you go. There you go. That was a smart move.
Well, honestly, the next one I want to do, because it's out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'll be honest, with the book that I just did, these are just guys that I've met over the course of years on the road and stuff. Other than like 1 or 2 people that I reached out to, I kind of knew everybody. But the next one I'm going to do, I kind of want to do a country one.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd love to have Garth Brooks in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that would be, but we'll see. Like I said, this is still, day 1, right? I mean, I'm still on the first book, but and then obviously we thought we'd be on the road. We thought we'd be promoting it, and then with the dumpster fire that 2020 was.
Right.
It kind of killed us on that. So, but honestly, the reason I got into the whole autism thing anyways, is I have a son. Yeah, he's 19 now. I just have the one boy and he has Asperger's, which is high functioning autism.
Sure.
But he went through all the same stuff that other kids did. You can go down, there's like a checklist. And, he used to get nervous and do this with his hands, aggressive when he couldn't get his words out, just little things would set him off, the weirdest things. And now he's gotten better, but I did have him in middle school. He was starting to get picked on in school because kids are so brutal. But in middle school, I actually put him in an autistic school up in Daytona Beach. And he did that for a couple of years. And there's kids in there that were nonverbal, ate the same lunch every day. Still to this day, my son, not since 2nd grade, has wore shoes. He cannot handle wearing socks. He just drives him crazy.
Wow.
It's sensory stuff, But him, I'm lucky because he's high functioning. He's out there. They say guys like Einstein, Beethoven, even Elon Musk have some form of autism. They also do say that 1 in 54 people in America have some form of autism. Right. Actually, I seen a report not too long ago. I think somebody put 1 in 59. So I don't know if it's going up. And I just remember, we're all about the same age, right? And I remember back, when we were in school, they always had that one maybe odd kid in class. But now there's classrooms full of these kids.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to mention any names or I'm not going to bring this up, and I'll talk to you guys later on.
I'm not going to bring this up. I'm going to bring it up. Go ahead.
Okay. My friend Bill Algie. No, no, but I actually have dealt with that too. And to be honest, I've did some crazy shit in my life. I've been real high anxiety. Yeah. I've had kind of I have tics and stuff like that. So I kind of know where they're going, and people in my family, I have some like that. That you said, same food, same this, same that, very almost like OCD, but
That's
yet,
part of it. That's part
yeah,
of
that's
it.
what I'm saying. So I have experienced that and dealt with that all, with throughout. So I understand that. And like I said, it is crazy how many people there are that are affected by that. And,
I asked my son that. I asked him what he thought. I said, hey, I said the same story to him.
right,
And he's like, well, there's more testing now.
right.
I'm
It's
like,
true.
well, so maybe, he always looks at it that way. I'm always like, how come all these people? And the problem is with schools and stuff, and I can only give you my experience.
Sure.
But is that schools do not know how to deal with these kids. My son,
Right.
they put him in a class, but he was too smart for it, so he had to go to another class. And then before long, he's back in regular class.
Right.
And then jobs, people just don't want to take chances. But the thing about kids with autism, they're very, very smart.
Sure.
So there's nothing wrong with them that way. I mean, they're awake.
They're functioning.
I always call them like little mini superheroes.
Right.
And if it wasn't for these kind of guys, like I said, there's probably certain things, Einstein, that this wouldn't happen because they think outside the box.
Sure.
And you really need those kind of people.
And like I said, it's one of those things where, and just real quick, don't make it about me, but when I was, and people that watch this show will notice over time, my tics vary. There's some times when you'll see me like this with my hand on my face because I get twitches in my face, and it bothers me when I go back and watch these things. I'm like, oh my God, it's like
Right.
I'm really twitchy and stuff. But I remember, as a kid dealing with this, and it would come and go, and so it was really funny. It would go like certain times a year, like the beginning of school. I guess it was the stress and everything coming back. It would start, the anxiety would come up. But I remember I don't this is before my son was born. We were sitting at home. I was married at the time, and I stayed up late one night and I'm watching HBO, and they had a show about Tourette's, and they were talking. When you think of Tourette's, you think of you're throwing cursive,
Sure.
but there's also forms of that, and the tics and the thing, and it hit me so hard. I was just crying, and I woke my wife up, and I said, "That's what I've been dealing with my entire life." It was kind of and it made me feel better. It's like going, I'm not crazy. I'm not weird. It's just,
You're not alone.
right. And it's one of those things. It's like, oh my God, it actually, because, say when we were kids, they didn't have testing for that. You were just odd.
Rub some dirt on it.
You were an odd kid,
No, that's, like I said, that's part of the reason on the book as well, just to get it out there. But
right.
yeah, autism, and the other problem is that not one kid is exactly the same. Like my son, when he was younger, he takes everything literal. So if you say to him, when he was in elementary school, they said, look, you got to wash your hands every day. Well, he would wash his hands so many times that his knuckles would bleed.
Sure.
But then he'd get off of that, and then he wouldn't take the stairs. And then I took him to Indiana back in into February to see my dad's 77th birthday, and my son went, and he wouldn't take the escalator. He just wouldn't do it. But it's funny, but maybe next month he will, and he won't take the stairs. It just kind of moves around a little bit. But they all have little things with it. You have autism with OCD or panic attacks, or maybe like my son had that dysgraphia or whatever it is. Like he would write his name and it'd be like painting. He would just have a hard time. So we had to have a laptop keyboard in his classroom. So, it's a combination of things. And,
Sure.
and all these people want to do is give them medication, which just mellows them out. And that's a tough road when you start getting into anything that's brain related,
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
But like I said, if you want to support and see what Steve Lukather cooks, Rockin Recipes.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of great recipes in there. And like I said, I like the layout of the book. And like I said, whoever you said that the company that you're working with have done cookbooks, so they know how to do it. And like I said, I thought it was very well done. When Ellen said you were coming on, you had a cookbook, and I was like, okay, this is going to be like one of these, PTA kind of cookbook. Yep. But I'm like going, no, this is a real cookbook. I mean, it looks great.
And a lot of guys got behind it. I mean, I know, Brian was cool. I know Joey Allen bought a bunch of books for me from Warrant. He gave them away for Christmas presents to his family because he's got a recipe, some marinara sauce from Italy or something that got passed down. Sure. Again, Saving Abel, the guys from Ron Kill, all those guys are out there kind of really pushing it. And it's again, it's Autism Awareness Month. Autism Awareness Month. Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. That's great.
So have you tried some of the recipes in there?
I have. I haven't eaten them all, but I have. Like I said, I did the Ricky Rocket black bean sliders. I've done Ron Kill's chili. That's kind of hard to say. I've done Doug Aldridge guacamole. There's a few things out there. I mean, I've done most of them. There's just a couple I haven't got into.
Right.
I just haven't got around to it. Making the late Frankie Benelli from Quiet Riot, by the way.
Right.
He's got like a pumpkin ravioli. Just haven't really quite got to that one yet.
No, there's a little,
it looks really good though.
There's a lot of different stuff in there though. I mean, that's what's kind of cool about it. You got a little bit of everything. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You say it. Gonzalez sauce D something for, I don't know.
Yeah, and I like the way you had his picture with his food too. I thought that was really cool. So.
Well, that was cool on those guys because, of course, I asked them that, and a couple people did give me some photos like that. But again, the photo thing, talking about the cookbook.
Right.
So other than trying to really get all the proof, which I still screwed little things up after I printed them, like, oh, I forgot that. Oh, I had that. You know what I mean? Just little bitty minimal things, but that bugged me. But like I said, it was just getting the photos. I had one guy send me the same photo literally 8 times in a row. And I'm like, dude, this thing is 200 pixels. I cannot go to publishing with it. I know you got it off the internet, but I can't use that photo. So that was a real big issue with photos. And like I said, I got to the point. Now, some of them actually give me better photos. They got it, but then some people just have it together to begin with. They know what to give you. But then I had a lot of them that I just had to eventually, I just got tired of bugging them. So I just reached out to 3 or 4 photographer friends that I know around the country that go to festivals and this and that, and they have those photos. So I just use those.
Besides the photo headaches, as a bass player.
Oh my God.
There's the bass.
I see you showing off.
As a bass player who's never written a book before, what are some of the other things that you maybe learned or things that caught you off guard?
Okay. Well, the thing with the cookbook, here's the thing too, I didn't really write it. That's what's weird because I'm like the author of the cookbook, but it's really just a compilation of recipes that I put together. Well, first of all, the cost on it, you can't believe how much paper costs. You think a piece of paper is cheap, but when it's not. And then shipping was brutal. I literally have 4,000 books in my garage. They come in boxes of 30 and they're $50 a piece just to mail the box. So they're heavy. It's not like a CD where you can literally only have $1 in it, or a DVD. These are actually expensive. So that was one thing. And then just the time consuming on it, because when I talked to these guys, they were like, hey, yeah, we can turn this around in like 12 weeks. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, 9 months later, I got it turned around. So it definitely takes a lot of time. So I kind of know what to do on that. And, and that's it. And the other thing about the cookbook too, is I didn't put them in categories. I didn't have like desserts, appetizers, because listen, if Ricky Rocket wants to give you this, then take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you didn't go. Sorry, we've already got enough appetizers. We just need for you to supply.
It's like
dessert.
when
That'd be great.
You have a party and everybody brings a dessert. It's like, motherfuckers, we can only eat sweets all night. We gotta have some fucking meat.
Here's the kind of party I have. I'll have a party where I'm grilling out ribs and everybody brings a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Dennis feels your pain.
And 2 friends.
Yeah, I know that. We've got Grippos and Doritos.
Yeah,
so we got a little bit of both. I figure
don't bring the booze and meat. Just bring the chips.
Yeah, no shit. But
that's what you're supposed to do when you get invited over.
Paper plates.
yeah. Napkins.
Yeah. So everything's cool. Like I said, I'm just giving my last real big push on this particular edition of the book, and again. Autism Awareness Month, and hopefully, get some book sales. I mean, it's slowly happening. Honestly, it's doing about as well as I thought it would do with everything that's been going on. And again, just like the lines I gave Alan earlier, if you ever want to eat with a rock star, or you can't see these guys perform now, because during obviously COVID, and it looks like we're slowly getting out of that, obviously, right? But everybody was cooking. Everybody was stuck at home cooking.
Right.
I mean, I have seen.
That's why some of us gained 40 pounds.
Oh my God, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it. Trust me, it's
COVID
bad.
weight, baby, COVID weight, and not jumping around on stage. But I'll tell you one thing: I have completely burned up Netflix. There's nothing left on Netflix for me.
Vince Neil's sitting back going, "Okay, you motherfuckers, now you know how I feel." He goes, "I'm not the only one like that. Now everybody's in my shape."
Are you excited about that tour, the stadium tour?
No, I could give a shit less, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. It's coming here in June at what used to be the Citrus Bowl, whatever it's called now. But
We all went to. I don't know, Alan, did you go with us on that one, or was just me and Bill went to that? Their final when they come back out. They come back out there. We're never gonna, or that was their final tour. When playing the Kiss ticket. That was the worst show I've seen in ever. I mean, Alice Cooper was great, but that show sucked balls. It was the worst thing I ever heard in my life. It was terrible.
Something I have learned though is no bands ever really retire.
Right?
I agree
they don't.
with that.
They don't. I mean, Kiss is going to retire until Paul Stanley's dead.
Right.
No, I'll even take that back. Kiss won't retire until Gene Simmons is dead, because he's still liable to put a Paul Stanley guy up there with makeup on and go for it.
Oh yeah.
He can work out to the last minute.
Kiss will never die. It'll just keep somebody whoever at the point owns the name and owns the brand will put 4 motherfuckers in makeup and send them out.
Okay.
In some form.
You guys are all Kiss fans, right?
Sure.
So here's what I always wanted to see Kiss do. And Gene won't do it because of his ego. But I think what you do is, wouldn't you do a tour like this is their farewell tour, which kind of sucks because they did some US dates and then obviously they were heading overseas and then COVID happened and they're going to try to finish up over there. But I always wanted to do a tour, their last tour, where they did sort of like a Spinal Tap thing where they brought like Gene's kid. It don't have to be his kid in real life, but like the spawn of Gene, just a little bit different, on Ace, a little bit different on each character.
That would actually be kind of cool.
And bring in some young kids and they split up the set, right? And then Gene can sit back at 85 years old and just collect money from, and still write songs and have a new, like Kiss 2.
I think that it should be basically like a Broadway production, and you have a production of the Destroyer set. You have a production of the Alive, the 77. You have the Dynasty, and run these different shows throughout the United States, and you can go see,
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
I like that.
There's so many Kiss tributes out there, though.
Well, but I mean, official where it's money backed, big production, major production. I mean, use like like your American Idol. I mean, get it to where, make it a contest. Make it, let's find the best fucking Gene we can find. That'd be fucking great.
Yeah. Like we're telling Gene Simmons how to run the game, right?
Right. Like
I'm sure he's got a plan.
Like he cares or he wants to listen. And Paul's too busy doing his soul station and cooking.
He's cooking. Yeah, you should reach out to Paul. He cooks all the time.
Okay. I did reach out to Paul Stanley, and the comment that I got back was, I am working on my own cookbook. And that's all I needed to hear.
It's like, I can make money.
So I don't want to make a donation to your Alzheimer's book that would get donated.
Autism.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Paul's working on the Alzheimer's.
I see that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'll make money on my own. Well,
yeah.
Paul's working on a book that gives money to people who can't sing no more and has to use a tape.
This went sideways on him.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, I've been getting backlashed on Facebook bad. I even put it on Paul's page. I just like going, you just wish
he so don't care.
He don't give a shit.
I do have one Kiss story though. My only Kiss story really was back in '88. I was living in Los Angeles with my guitar player JP, and he was actually got married to a fashion designer chick or a clothing chick or something, lived in the Hollywood Hills. That didn't last long, by the way. And then we went to Gene Simmons' house, and it was okay. You remember when they came out without the makeup, and they came on with all the like stud. This is probably 88, 89-ish, something. They came out with all the studs on the jacket and had like the paint and all that stuff. My guitar player's wife at the time was the one that created all those jackets.
Cool.
All the whole wardrobe. So I remember going to Gene's house in the hills, had a little bitty house. Sharon was at the table breastfeeding their boy. Now, how old is he now? 30 something?
Nick's probably what, high 20s?
Yeah, high 20s for sure.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm
27,
saying whatever
28.
time that frame was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
And then went to Gene's little office for a second. I'm like 19-year-old kid, completely intimidated. You know what I mean? But I just remember he had a couple of things in glass, his outfits and stuff. But yeah,
Wow.
that's it. And then about 2 years later, they came and did a tour at Market Square Arena, and Gene waved us in. He opened the door and we got in for free. That's my whole KISS story.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. Not a bad story.
Me and Bill got to be on stage with Gene and sing "Do You Love Me?"
Now, see, that's a better story. You know what I'm saying?
That was just a couple of years ago in Fort Wayne.
Is that a casino? Or
Oh,
a
it wasn't
Actually-
a casino.
actually
Was
in
it
May.
a park?
Actually, in May it'll be 4 years.
Oh gosh, yeah, 4
Now,
years.
was he doing a solo thing? Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best
I
part
was at
about
a-
it was we got in VIP passes because we'd interviewed all the guys in his band.
Right. And I've met a couple of guys that are in his band.
I was at a food show in Nashville. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. I wanted to go though.
We get the better end of that deal.
I got a good food show though. No, that was a good show.
So, besides making a cookbook for autism awareness, what is the bass player for Novarex doing otherwise?
Well, we're just kind of gearing up to do shows. It's just now freeing up. I'll tell you, we've been a little bit luckier than a lot of people here in Florida. It's a little bit like the Wild Wild West. But I got to play Biketoberfest back in October, and that was well needed, by the way. I mean, there's still bands out there that haven't played in over a year. So we got a couple shows in there, a couple of bar gigs, a couple of Harley Davidson dealerships. What's happening right now is it's freeing up, but some of the bars here are still at 60% capacity, 100% capacity outdoors. Depends what county you're in. It's all wacky, right? The only thing that's been really kind of working to get that kind of energy is because festivals, they've all been closed down, the Rocklahomas and all that, which I don't blame them, is Harley Davidson dealerships.
There you go.
They're like GD Americans, man. So they did that. We played Daytona Bike Week, which was their 80th. We had five shows in 10 days up there, and it was packed, man. There wasn't one mask on or nothing. And
Cool.
What's weird is the week after, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after, they're talking about how the COVID rates are going down in Florida. So that's a good thing. But I just feel sorry for people that still live in LA and New York and all that,
Mhm.
Right.
So, but no, just gearing up to play some shows. Our next show actually is at an Indian dealership, Panama City Bike Week. That's coming up at the end of this month. So we're kind of excited to go up there. We got nice rooms, nice place. And then we just did a hamburger commercial for a company.
I saw that.
Funny? It was Mooyah Burgers, and I've never heard of them. And
Funny commercial, dude. It was hilarious.
they have like 100 locations across the country, and Dubai and everything else. So
I think you posted. You posted on your Facebook, wasn't it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. I'm like going hamburger commercial. I was watching. I'm like going, that's fucking funny as shit.
I thought it was funny too. And the reason I did it is the thing about me, I'll pretty much do whatever I want. Like how you see Geico with the rat commercial, and
Right.
the Dr. Pepper guys all rock and roll. So it's like the 80s metal stuff is now our age, who controls those things. And so now you see that kind of music and in flashbacks, and just like when I was younger, I remember being a kid, and my parents were from the 50s, right? So
Sure.
this and all that stuff. You know how big that stuff was after he was gone? And then it always say it takes like 20 years and it goes around in a circle. Well, here we are now. And now it's instead of like, I'll give you for instance, we used to play a Deep Purple song, which I love Deep Purple. I used to play Deep Purple song at bike events from time to time. I don't play them anymore. I don't play that song anymore because nobody's that age that knows that band. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're under freaking, basically 60, you don't even know who Deep Purple is. So that's kind of a wild little setup. But we're just out trying to represent, trying to stay relevant, keeping 80s metal alive, working on some new stuff. We actually did a little mini video. I called it a mini single, which got a lot of love, by the way. And that another reason I did that, have you heard these songs now on the radio? They're getting shorter and shorter all the time. I mean, if you get there's like 2 minute and 10 second songs now. They don't even have solos in them. People
You're getting like Like the Ramones. It's just a bunch of Ramones songs now.
Real tight, right? Real short. So I went to extreme and cut a 30-second song. That's what we did. But it's got 50,000 views on it. So that, and you know why it's got 50,000 views? It's because it's not 3, 4, 5 minutes long.
Sure.
People don't want to mess with that stuff anymore. If you can get it that fast, that's how fast they want it. They want to see it and move on to the next thing.
And here's the funny thing. I went and looked at the stats on that it's 33 seconds long, and the average person watches 27 seconds of it.
Can't even make it to the end.
Can't even make it to the end. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
So
That's great unless it's your video.
Right. If it was 6-minute video, they'd still probably watch 27 seconds of it.
Yeah. I mean, our show is usually like an hour, and we get like maybe 5 seconds. They're done. It's like,
I got you. No,
like,
so,
those guys again.
so how are you guys doing in Indiana, man? How's the weather? Getting better?
Weather's better.
Yes,
Weather's
it's
pretty
better.
good. Our governor just changed our mask mandate to an advisory, and it went into effect on April the 6th, I believe. And I did my first sound gig at the bar that I usually work at this past Saturday night, and you know it was wonderful. Nobody had on a mask. Everybody was having a good time drinking. Of course, I've also had both my vaccines, and Tuesday was my 2 weeks. So,
so you feel pretty strong, yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. It is kind of weird though. I mean, it's been fairly locked down here, but we went out Friday night to a Mexican restaurant, and it was, tables were packed. It was pretty packed. People weren't wearing masks. People working there weren't wearing masks. It was just kind of like, it was a little weird. It just kind of, I remember sitting there with the other couple we went with, and we're like, you guys all right with this? I mean, people we hang around with all the time. So they were like, yeah, but it just felt a little weird.
It is weird. I mean,
to not have a mask on, it felt weird.
Yeah, not well, I mean, once you get to the table, typically you take it off anyway, but to not have servers wearing it or looking at the bar, and the bar people weren't wearing one, and you know, it was just that, you know, people get up to go to the bathroom and stuff like that, they're not wearing one. It was just kind of strange.
Well, you know, go ahead. I told my guys, I said, look, you know, because over the last year, I said, look, when we do interviews or we do photos or we do this, don't wear the mask. Because the problem is 4 years from now, we'll go back. Like, you know how many bands wrote stuff during COVID, and how many bands wrote just crap about COVID? And I'm like, dude, that stuff won't fly a year from now. Nobody's gonna want to listen to any of that. And the other thing that kills me too is all the people that put out re-released albums or cut one new song, or, you know, so I don't know where the music business is now. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff that just came out that were just EPs now. I mean, my suggestion for a band, any band, is just go cut a video and a song and do one at a time. Because you're not going to sell them. You're not selling it. You're not going to get, I mean, even if you get it on iTunes, they're going to give you a tenth of a penny. So there's no money there. That's why I liked a couple years ago, remember when Bon Jovi did that tour, the Arenas show, and he was giving his CDs out with the price of the ticket. Right. Great freaking move. Because it went platinum, and he didn't have to sell one. I was
going to say, yeah, that counts as an album sale. I have 2 of those CDs.
So you know,
my wife went to that tour.
Exactly. So everything's different now. The only thing really left out there for bands, because radio airplay is done. It's done. I mean, I can tell you all the bands that I even grew up with that I love that had platinum albums can't get record deals, and radio plays, and there's no record labels left. Radio plays pretty much done. That's owned by one company that owns like almost all radio, and they play the same 10 bands.
Clear Channel or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, iHeart.
Well, that and Universal, everything. I mean, Universal Music owns just about everything.
So, but I'm saying that there's no way to get on, you know, and everything's pay to play, you know, still. It's just, now you just got to buy ads, you know, or buy something. But so only thing left is touring. And then when they took that away from us, you know, it was pretty rough. I'm actually amazed that more bands didn't break up, and more musicians who are already sensitive type people anyways, that's why they're musicians instead of dentists, is I figured there'd be more suicides, to tell you the truth.
Oh, well, you know what sucks too is, you know, the only ways a lot of these people were doing it, they were, you know, trying to do these you know, make a little money doing you know, live Facebook, or like, you know, going on doing this stuff, and then the motherfuckers are copyright, they just shut them down. You know, it's like going, are you fucking kidding me? You know, let these guys make some money somehow. You know,
I was
It's just
confused with that.
bullshit.
But I understand what they were doing, and it hurts guys like us that want to play songs. But the thing is, if you're playing a Bon Jovi song and they're paying you for it. I mean, it's a fine line, bro. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, we all do it. I mean, even when you went and seen a Motley Crue show, didn't they play a cover at the end of the night? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody still throws in the cover from here and there. But that whole thing didn't work out. Remember when they did and I actually tried to reach out to him, Garth Brooks. He did that. He was the first one that went out and did the movie theater.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing about the movie. First of all, he lost $1 million, is what I heard. And then everybody else tried to do it after, which it never did happen. But all he was giving you was a pre-recorded show from a different date.
Sure.
It wasn't like it was live interaction, and they wasn't even at drive-ins. 80% of them were in just regular movie theaters where they took seats out in between. It was just a cluster. There's nothing like playing live music in a bar, smells, sounds, you know.
Yeah. People were trying to deal with what they had and trying to make a good, trying to do something with it. You know, like I said, this year is 2020 is going to go down as the biggest clusterfuck, you know, of history. And we got through it though. Now let's get started. Let's get back to normal. That's the whole thing. And
well, I think, like I said, I'm just waiting for the floodgates to open and for people that are fans, they're going to love it because every band's going to be on the road at the same time. And
it'll be one of these deals where, man, I wish a show would come to town, and you're going to be sitting there going, God damn, I wish everybody wouldn't come to town this weekend. So I can afford another show this month,
I'm a little bit, me personally, I just want to know how the money flow is going to happen. Is that going to be competitive to where the band's money will go down? You know what I mean? Because this band you can get for this price because they want to go on the road, but you know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting.
I don't think we're gonna. I don't think and if the economy kind of stays the way it has been, I was thinking about that too because they're at least here they're putting shows on for 2022. Like you can get there's a show that just went on, some country bumpkin guy that plays rock but calls it country, and for February of 2022, the tickets are already on sale. I don't know how much they are. I don't really care, but if the artist tries to make up the money they lost in the COVID thing, that's going to be playing to empty stadiums, which makes no sense either. So that's the other thing is where do you find that price point that, you're going to get butts in the seats, because some of those people that were paying $100 for a ticket, some of those people don't have jobs.
Well, all that's going to come into effect. And then what was that whole thing with Ticketmaster? What had Ticketmaster that owed all these people money and took them, and they're not going to get their money back. It's gone. So that's why they keep rolling it over. You know what I mean?
And you're going to have to look at too, like we were saying, or like I was saying too, it's like, we used to get a good concert every few months here.
Right.
If you got people coming through every week, you're going to pick and choose what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it may be a fact where, I could see these guys, but goddamn, their ticket prices are high. I could see 2 other shows for that price if they go to. So it'll be interesting how the market, how they do this. I'm sure the Kisses and the Motley Crues are going to be the big ticket stuff, but it'll be interesting to see how everybody else lays in that layer.
Yeah. Plus, you got to remember, like a lot of these festivals, they've already sold their tickets.
Sure.
So they can't even really raise it. You can't, because if you raise it on me and they bought it last year and now you're going to, so that money, that's a little rough too. Cause damn good and well, most of that money's been spent.
Oh,
all of it's been spent.
It's been spent. Yeah. It's gone. I mean,
they have to, they have to pay for the people that, wait a minute, they had to retain for jobs. It's just, it's a mess.
It'll be a very interesting, once it gets going, it'll be interesting to see how it
But I'm still here, still swinging at the fences, right? So somebody's
That's good.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Appreciate it. How you doing, Alan? You're being awful quiet back there.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt. I've always been a polite guy like that.
Now, how long you been playing bass?
Since 2001-ish.
Okay, you getting how many Kiss songs do you know now?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
Oh,
honestly, that's the only reason that I started playing bass in the first place, is because I wanted to play some of those Kiss songs.
I believe you, man.
And then before you know it, somebody's like, "Oh, you play bass? Come join my band."
Right.
One thing that I've learned about being a bass player is there's always the demand for a bass player.
There is, because everybody wants to be a guitar player.
Bass players and keyboard players are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, that's why I kept a job all these years. Yeah. So what's your favorite Kiss song?
My favorite Kiss song, Calling Dr. Love.
That's a good one. Yeah. And what do you got? What do you say, Bill? What is yours?
Do You Love Me?
That's a good
And to
one
sing
too.
it with Gene on stage, standing right next to him, was freaking awesome.
Quit big dicking it.
It was cool, man. Just
I'm
telling you.
totally jealous, man. I'm totally jealous.
It was pretty damn
I want
cool.
a roadie for Gene. What are you talking about? I'll just go boom, 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 and sound check and hand it to him. No, I think that's totally awesome, man. So did you guys catch the New Year's one in Dubai? Anybody get that money? Yeah.
I actually went to Dennis's house and watched it.
Okay. And what?
Yeah, I did. I had some friends over. We had a little party, so it was kind of cool. I
How many-
cussed at the TV a
Don't
lot.
tell Dennis that his microphone is muted.
No, I'm saying the guy who was the production guy or whoever was ahead of that, who fucked up the entrance, the beginning of that thing, is not working for Kiss no more.
I truly
yeah,
think
right.
that was done on purpose, and I don't.
You really think?
I don't
Sabotage.
think that was him. I think that was somebody's like, we're starting now.
Oh wow. How many people ended up watching that thing? Do you guys remember?
I don't know.
I don't know what the.
I don't think they met their.
I
They
don't
didn't
know.
meet they didn't meet the target they had.
I remember it was a little bit because I just remember it being lower than I thought, and I'm like, it's freaking Kiss in Dubai blowing everything up, right?
When,
Yeah, at noon though.
right. When the DVD comes out,
Now,
I
that
wonder,
was
do
that
they
was
have?
the big thing?
I wonder if the DVD will have the actual opening and the curtain.
I bet
drop.
it will.
I bet it will,
sure, I'm
too.
sure they were recording.
They had to
You
record.
know, they already
it.
had the cameras rolling and everything.
But the
Yeah,
director of that thing fucked
Well,
up.
well, I don't think it was the director. You know, if Paul Stanley said, we're going out now, and the people in the booth that's running the cameras and all of that stuff
Put her cigarette out real quick.
didn't get it turned on in time. You know?
Alan and I were sitting there on the couch and watching this lady. Remember, she was talking. It was like an interview with like a
And then
fan.
just like snap.
And all of a sudden, it's like, we're mid-song. What the hell's going on? I was like, fuck.
See Paul's feet, and you're like, well, what the hell is
what the
going on? Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's you got to get the Kiss intro, man. That's
It
what
was-
we all
It was a
strive to
good time,
do.
though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to a Kiss show, I mean, I went with a friend one time that got loaded, and he's like, "You got to take me home." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not leaving."
Yeah.
Right.
This is a Lick It Up tour, back in the Lick It Up tour, and
Wow.
he just got hammered, and he's like, "You got to take me home." I'm like, "No, I'm not leaving. It's
His
just
friend
late."
was
So-
Dennis.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no,
Dennis.
no. I was there.
Dennis
I
was
was
at that
at-
show, but it wasn't.
I was at
it
that
wasn't
show,
Dennis.
but no.
You know who it was though? It was Steve.
Oh, is
And-
that who it was?
Yeah. And he's
Oh,
like, "You got
wow.
to take." I'm like, "No." So after
You
the
go-
show's over, after the show's over, I walk out of the arena, walk out of the stadium, and he's sitting there on the curb, and I'm like, "Dude, I'll take you home now."
It's like, okay, it's like go
to
to gate 1 and there's a bathroom. Go to stall 3 and you sit there and
Well, that's
sleep
where I
on the
found him, was in
fucking
the
toilet.
bathroom. I go in there, and he's like trashed, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You got to take me home, man. I feel bad."
No,
I'm
once
like,
we get to the concert, I ain't taking
leaving.
you. I ain't taking nobody home.
Sorry, buddy.
You're on your own until the fucker's over, and then
Walk
we'll go home.
walk home.
So, Kenny, what's your favorite Kiss song?
Wow, that's a toughie, man. Probably Dr. Love.
What's your favorite one to play? Do you play? Do you
Yeah, we play a
Kiss
couple
in your
Kiss
repertoire?
songs. We do. Yeah, but we don't do the good stuff, man. I mean, we do Lick It Up sometimes. We do Detroit Rock City and Rock and Roll Party. Every day, all night, whatever. But that's pretty much it. But those are not my favorite Kiss songs.
Right.
Yeah. You really, to be a Kiss fan, you for me, I like going deep in the well. You know what I mean? Like the B tracks and stuff that people don't typically listen to.
Yeah, mine's always been Parasite. I mean, you can't beat Parasite. I think
That's
a
a
great-
fun song to play.
That's a fucking awesome song.
So how many number ones has Kiss had in the history of Kiss? Right. So yeah, I figure I can't bust you guys out.
And it's the worst fucking song that they had. I really don't like listening to it. So.
But it's funny about Kiss, because Kiss is a show, right? I mean, it's a combo. I don't know if Kiss just came out like say Phil Collins and wrote Dr. Love, if that would have really flown. You know what I mean? But they definitely got both. That's just a band that's got a lot of songs and not a lot of number one hits, and you think they would.
It's about the show.
It is about the
all
show.
about the show.
Yeah, man. So,
And you know what I enjoy anymore as much going to shows is taking people to the show for the first time.
oh, I bet.
That to me, to see somebody's reaction, that is worth the price of admission.
You know,
Right.
the last time we saw him in Indianapolis, that was Max's first and last Kiss show. And Max is not really big into him, but he really enjoyed it. And he told me afterwards, he goes,
Yeah.
I'm glad I went. So,
I tell people,
like I said, it was worth it. It was worth it. So
It's like going to a WWE wrestling event or something.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
that
fire and the flames and shit. Yeah.
Love it, man. I mean, they set the bar for that. That's for sure. So
yeah, if you ask Garth Brooks who set the bar, he'll tell you who it was.
Who, Kiss?
Yep.
Yeah. Garth Brooks wants so bad to be a rocker. Remember that album he put out that one time? Oh my
God, yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Talking to I saw the funniest meme this week, and I forgot to tell you guys about this. I don't think I sent it to you. I sent you the Randy Macho Man one, or did you see it?
Yeah.
It had a picture of Randy Macho Man. It says it's rumored at one time that Randy Savage tested positive for blood in his cocaine system. I'm like, that's the funniest shit I ever heard in my life. What do you mean, man? That's fucking
possible.
Kenny, tell us how we can find your book on the internet so our friends can order it.
I want to be one.
Yeah, so go to Rockin without a G, Rockin Recipes. I know it's like backwards, right? But it's Rockin Recipes for Autism.com. If you go there, there's a few 4, 5, 6 flip pages. Why I did the book. It talks about the charity We Rock for Autism, and everything you really need to know is there. So you gotta just go to Rockin without a G, Rockin Recipes for Autism.com. The book is $29.99, and it's very inexpensive, one of a kind. And if you happen to be a fan, for me, it's a 3-parter. If you like rock and roll and you want to know, like I said, what, Don Dokken from Dokken cooks, then you get the book. If you happen to have, you want to support autism, again, 1 in 54 people, you buy the book. Or if you just happen to like to cook. My girl's from South Georgia, Valdosta, man. She grew up I ate some catfish and cheese grits and all kinds of crap now I never even knew existed when I was in Indiana.
Cheese grits are good, man.
What's that?
Cheese grits are good.
Catfish, cheese grits, and collard greens with sweet tea. Dude, it's a freaking thing around here. But if you just like to cook, like I was getting to, she's got her Martha Stewart books and things like that, Paula Deen, and they just don't go out of style. The recipes will be there forever. So, and check it out. It's definitely worth the price, and we'll get some help raise awareness and help out some kids with autism.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show. Hang tight while I take us out of here. People, go to agesrock.com, visit our website, check out our past episodes and social media links. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.